Okay. Find the x and the y intercepts with the following. One way to do it would be to factor. So for the first one, I can factor it into x plus 1, x plus 3, which would give me the x-intercepts as 0, negative 1, 0. And negative 3, 0. And then the y-intercept, I just find by plugging in 0 for x, so it would be 3. So it would be 0, 3. Because all this would turn to 0, I'd be left with 3. For part B, again, I'm going to try to factor it. This time I'm going to make a diamond in a box. So I get 24x squared. 24x squared and negative 10x. So 8 and 3 make 24, 6 and 4. So it's going to be negative 6x and negative 4x. So in my box, I get negative, actually, I forgot about the negative in the, it's negative 24. So to get negative 10, negative 6, negative 4 would give me 10, but it would give me a positive 24. So 12 and 2. So I'm going to get negative 12x and 2x. So I get a negative 3x squared, 8, and then 2x and negative 12x. So to get negative 12, I need 4, so x plus 4. To get 2x, I need 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. So I get, when I factor, I get negative 3x plus 2 times x plus 4. So then my x-intercepts are 2/3, 0, and negative 4, 0. And then my y-intercept is 0, 8. Number 2, I define the error in the following solutions, then correct the solution to the problem. So in A, it's that they didn't make the 6 its opposite, so there should be a negative 6. So when they got down here, it should be negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 6 over 3. For B, they subtracted 49 and 40 instead of adding them to get 89. So in this step right here, it would be negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 89 over negative 4. Problem 3, for each of the following equations, state the parent equation and then sketch its graph. For this, the parent is x squared. To sketch the graph, it's going to be move over 5 to the right. So my vertex would be right here, and it would just go up. This one, the parent is y equals the absolute value of x. And when I sketch my graph, my vertex is going to be at negative 5, negative 2, and its absolute value. So it should look something like that. Problem 4, write the following in graphing form, then state the vertex and the direction the parabola opens. So to write this first one in graphing form, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides because I'm going to complete the square. I'm going to get negative 18 equals x squared minus 8x. So I'm going to complete the square up here. I get 8x squared. Negative 8x divided by 2 is negative 4x. negative 4x. So then I get x minus 4, x minus 4. So this is 16, which means I'm going to add 16 to both sides. So I get 2 equals x minus 4 squared. So then I get y equals x minus 4 squared minus 2. So the vertex is going to be 4, negative 2, and it opens up. So part B, I'm going to subtract 42 from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 42 equals 3x squared minus 24x. So I have to have x squared be 1. I have to have a to be 1. So I'm going to pull a 3 out. So now I have negative 42 equals 3 groups of x squared minus 8x. When I complete the square, I know I'm going to add 16 because I found it in the last problem. So I add 16, but on the other side, I'm really adding 16 times 3, which is 48. So I get 6 equals 3 groups of x minus 4 squared. So then my equation is y equals 3 groups of x minus 4 squared minus 6. So my vertex is 4, negative 6, and it opens up. Okay. Number 5, rewrite the expressions in simpler form. So for A, the first thing I'm going to do is take this whole part that's to the negative 5th and put it in the denominator. So now I have 4x cubed over 3x to the negative 2 to the positive 5th. So then I do everything to the 5th power. So I do 3 times itself 5. So I'm going to get on the bottom, on the top I'm still going to have 4x to the 3rd. On the bottom I'm going to have 243 x to the negative 10th. So now this x to the negative 10th is going to come up. So I'm going to get 4 x to the 13th over 243. For B, the x to the negative 4th is going to go into the denominator, while the y to the negative 5th is going to come in the top. So I'm going to get 3 y to the 5th, y to the 3rd, over x to the 3rd, x to the 4th. So then I just add exponents. So I get 3y to the 8th over x to the 7th. That's my answer. Problem 6, I'm going to multiply or divide and then simplify my result. So I have to factor. So I'm not going to box and diamond each one. I'm just going to kind of factor them out. So for A, the top is the difference of 2 squares. It's x plus 4, x minus 4. And then I get x minus 4 times x minus 4. For the other side, I'm going to get x and 6 and 3. I get negative and plus. Then where I get negative 6x plus 3 is negative 3x. For the bottom, I get, to get 2, I'm going to do 6 and 4. And I'm going to do negative 6 plus 4. So then when I cancel things out, I cancel out x minus 4, x minus 4, x plus 4, x plus 4, x minus 6s. So I get x plus 3 over x minus 4. For B, I do the same thing. This time I'm dividing. So I get x plus 1, x minus 1, because that's the difference of 2 squares. I get x plus 1, x minus 7. Since I'm dividing, I change it to multiplication, and I put the x minus 7 on top. And then I pull out an x for this one. So I get x squared plus x minus 2. So now I'm going to leave everything I factored so I can factor that bottom. So the bottom plus 2 minus 1. So I'm going to factor. I cross out these x plus 1s, x minus 1, x minus 1. So my final answer is 1 over x times x minus 2. Or you could have written it as 1 over x squared minus 2x. Either way is right. Problem 7, add. So we have to either simplify first. There's nothing I can simplify in the first one, so I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 7 over 4 over 4. So the bottom becomes 4 times x minus 7. So I'm going to get 20. That's a plus sign. 20 over 4 times x minus 7 plus 3 over 4 times x minus 7. So I add the top, so I get 23 over 4 times x minus 7, and that's my answer. For B, I'm actually going to factor first and see if there's anything I can cancel. So I get 10a over, I can pull an a out, a plus 6, minus 3 over, pull out a 3, a plus 6. So I can actually simplify first. So 3's cancel out, a's cancel out. This becomes a 1. So I do 10 minus 1. So I get 9 over a plus 6. Problem 8, graph the following systems, shade the solution, the region containing the points that satisfy all of the inequalities. So the first one, I'm just going to sketch it. So for the first one, my vertex is at 1, 6. It opens down, and it's dotted. Okay, 7, the second one is x minus 7, so I have, I go up 1 over 1, and it's a dotted line too. And this is greater than, and this is less than, so when I go to shade, I should be shading in between the two lines. For the second one, for the first equation, my vertex is at 2, 0, negative 2, 0. And it's going to open up. It's dotted. My second one, if I pull an x out, I get x. Oh, it's cubed. Sorry. Oh. My first one's a cube. So for the first equation, it's a cubic root. So it changes at negative 2, 0. It's dotted, so it's going to come up like that. And the second one is x squared plus 3x, so I can plot an x. And I know my x-intercepts are at 0 and negative 3. And it's going to go, it's dotted as well. Remember, just sketching. So this one is less than, the bottom one is greater than, so the shaded part would be in here. Problem 9, find the inverse of each. So I switch x and y, so this becomes x equals 8 times y minus 13. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide by 8. So get x over 8 equals y minus 13. Add 13. So my inverse, or f to the negative x, equals x over 8 plus 13. For B, switch x and y. First thing I'm going to do is take the cube root, both sides. And then I'm going to subtract 2. So divided by negative 1 is going to equal the cube root of x minus 2. Number 10, rewrite each logarithm equation as an exponential equation and vice versa. So 4 becomes the base, so it's 4 to the y equals x. This one 4 is the base and it equals x, so it's x equals 4 to the 80th. Sorry. X equals the log of 4/80th. 11, find each of the following values without using a calculator. Use what you know about a trig triangle or the unit circle. So I know that 360 is right here. And this is the ordered pair 1, 0. Sign is y, so this is equal to 0. So negative 90 is right here, which is the ordered pair 0, negative 1. Cosine is x, so this equals 0 as well. Sketch the graph. I know there's a root at 5, one at positive 1, one at positive 7. It is a fourth root, so it starts at the top. So when I graph it, it's going to go through this point. It's going to bounce right there because it's squared, and then go back up. B is a cube root. So it has a root at 0, one at negative 1, and one at negative 8. And normally it would go from the bottom and end at the top, but since it's negative, it's going to go down. Going through all three roots. 11, simplify the equation. The first one is just combining like terms. So we just do 6 plus 4y, distribute the negative, minus 2 plus I. So it would be 4 plus 5i. For B, we're going to make a box. So when I multiply it out, I get 9. I get 6i, negative 6i. Then I get negative 4i squared, which equals positive 4. These cancel, so I get 13. 14, divide. I'm dividing a cubic, so I need 3 columns and 2 rows. So I'm dividing by 3x minus 2. My answer is 3x cubed, 4x plus 24. First, I put my 3x cubed here. I know that this has to be multiplying by 3x, so it has to be x squared. So then this would be negative 2x squared. Negative 2x squared plus negative 3x squared gives me the negative 5x squared that I need. So then I get negative x. This becomes a positive 2x. So I need negative 34x. So this has to be negative 36. Then I need 3x times what is negative 36x? It's negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 2 is positive 24. So this is my final answer. For B, I have another cubic divided by x minus 1. My answer should be x cubed plus x squared minus 5x plus 3. So I know x cubed is going to go here. I need x squared, negative 2x. I get negative x squared. I need a positive x squared, so this has to be 2x squared. So this has to be 2x. So I get negative 2x. To get negative 5x, I need negative 3x. So that means this has to be negative 3. Get positive 3 for the plus sign, so this is my answer.